Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2642, and that one is The In Crowd by the Ramsey Lewis Trio. Um, their version went to number 5 in 1965. This wasn't the original version. I'll get to that later. But anyway, it was released also on their 1965 album called The In Crowd. And here's a picture of the Ramsey Lewis Trio. That's Ramsey Lewis in the middle on the piano. He was a very good piano jazz musician. And they had several hits. And I think before I go into their hits and more of their history, I want to talk about this song, The In Crowd. Like I said, it wasn't the original version. The original version, the In Crowd was written by this guy here, Billy Page, in 1964. And it was really originally recorded by this guy here, Dobie Gray. And he had a vocal version of this song. And I actually prefer Dobie Gray's version. I don't know why. I mean, they're hard to compare because one's vocal, the other's instrumental. But I don't know. It's just a catchy song, and I kind of like the lyrics. It is a very show offy song, though. I mean, he's singing how he's in with the in crowd. He knows every latest dance. He's in with this really cool crowd. They can't be beat. They're cruising around the town and picking up all the chicks. They dig the latest rock and roll. They know the latest dances, all that stuff. Very superficial song, but I still like it. And it's kind of funny because his version wasn't as big a hit; it only went to number 13. But his version's coming up much higher on my list. And I just want to say one more thing about his version, which I think is a little bit ironic in a way. He said that other guys imitated us, but the original's still the greatest. And it's true that I think his version was greater than the Ramsey Lewis Trio, even though the Ramsey Lewis Trio had a bigger hit with it. So I guess he had to eat his words in that sense. But anyway, so what else can I say? Here's the Ramsey Lewis Trio. Now I'm gonna just talk a little bit about them. They were a jazz group. Were led by Ramsey Lewis, who was a jazz musician. He lived from 1935 to 2022. I guess he just died a few years ago. He was 87 years old, so he lived a pretty full life. And they had several hits. And he was from Chicago, Illinois, which is a great city. I used to live there myself. Also a big home of piano, jazz, and blues and all that. A lot of great music from Chicago. Well, I guess he was just one of the great musicians from that great city. Anyway, so his first hit was in 1965. That's the one I featured today, "The In Crowd." That went to number 5, and then later he had "Jingle Bells," which went to 21, and "Hang On Sloopy," which was originally number one song by the McCoys. His version went to number 11. In 1966, he had "Winter Wonderland," which went to 21. "Wade on the Water," "Wade in the Water," which went to 19. "Uptight," I guess that was a version of Stevie Wonder's Motown classic. His version went to number 49. He had "High Heel Sneakers," which I think was another very famous kind of blues or R&B standard. His version went to number 70. He also had a version of "A Hard Day's Night," which I'm sure you guys all know, by the Beatles. His version went to number 29. In 1967, he had a version of "Soul Man," which went to 49. Version of "One, Two, Three." A lot of these were big hits by other artists, but he re-recorded them as piano, jazz, instrumental songs. And I think I've heard some of these, not all of these, but the ones I've heard I do like. "One, Two, Three," that was originally by Len Barry. His version went to number 67. "Day Tripper," another Beatles song. His version went to 74. "Dancing the Street," I'm sure you guys all know several versions of that song where his was number 84. In 1968, he had "Since You've Been Gone." That was a hit by Aretha Franklin. I don't think it's the same song by Rainbow. I'm not familiar with Aretha Franklin's version, so I guess I'm not familiar with Ramsey Lewis Trio version either, but that went to number 98, just barely made the Hot 100. 1968. 1969, he had a song called Julia, which went to 76. I don't think I know that one. In 1973, he had a song called Kufanya Mazenzi, which I think is Zulu or something. And the translation in English is Making Love. That went to number 93. In 1975, he had a couple um, uh, songs along with Earth, Wind, and Fire. The one was called Sun Goddess, that went to number 44. The other one was called Hot Dog It, which went to number 50. And I take it those are probably vocal songs because Earth, Wind, and Fire, I don't know of any instrumental songs they did. But anyway, that was all the hits for the Ramsey Lewis Trio. Very prolific jazz ensemble and great musicians. And that concludes my feature on the In Crowd by the Ramsey Lewis Trio. Thank you guys for watching. You rock, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.